Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. The plan today is that I actually have no plan. It's a bit unusual for me. Normally I like to head out with a specific target in mind that I'm going to try and find and take photos and video footage of. But today I just thought I'd head out and see what I can find. I've headed to a place where I know there are a lot of species hanging around, particularly migratory birds that have come in. You can see it's another shocking day in Melbourne. You wouldn't believe that it's pretty much almost summer. It's very grey, overcast and not much colour in the environment. Anyway, let's see what birds we can find in this little area here. So I've just come across this old, unusual gum tree here, and it looks like it's a pretty special tree because there's quite a few different species inhabiting it. I think what's going on is the species that I'm seeing in the tree, which are rainbow bee-eaters, and if people have watched this channel before, you'll know that I love bee-eaters. There are also sacred kingfishers and spotted pardalotes. Striated pardalotes, sorry, and I think the reason that they're here is that just behind the gum tree there's quite a steep bank, and all these species love to nest in those dried riverbanks. So I think what they're doing is using this tree as a lookout and then heading to the bank to start digging nests. So the problem with it being so grey and gloomy in Melbourne like this at the moment is that it makes it quite difficult to get nice photos of some of the birds, particularly when they're up high. And so they're on one of the branches above me. Obviously it's just a white background, there's not much to see there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to claim I'm being really artistic and just taking high key images of birds when it's like this, but in reality it's just because the conditions are so rubbish. These pardalotes are very active at the moment, which is pretty fun, but makes it difficult to get video footage of them. I'm able to get some nice photos, but videoing them is more difficult because they're not sitting still, they're sort of moving around and jumping up and down a lot. Now I'm going to try and get some video footage of the bee-eaters now, but I will need to put on the teleconverter because they're quite shy, which is interesting because if you see them up around Darwin, that sort of area where there's lots of people, you can pretty much walk right up to the bee-eaters and almost pat them. So these bee-eaters, I'm assuming, must come from maybe Central Australia, somewhere where there's not many people and they're not used to people, which is making them so skittish. So I've got a bee-eater sitting in quite a nice spot here on a low branch with a nice green background. You can see this bird is a female, and the way I can tell that is it has a really short spike on the end of its tail. The bird that I showed previously, the one that was up against that blown out background, that's a male. You can tell the difference, it had a really long tail spike. One thing I've just noticed, and another reason why the bee-eaters might be attracted to this tree, is that there's a beehive in a tree hollow just up here, and as the name would suggest, they actually do like eating bees, so it's like a smorgasbord on tap for them right here. It's got another two bee-eaters here, much better example of what a male looks like with that long tail spike. And just to make an honest man out of me, one of the has just grabbed a bee and is eating it. So they are bee eaters, and you can see that they like to bash it on the stick to get rid of the stinger and the venom gland before they swallow it. I'll try and get some video footage of the kingfishers as well while I'm here. They have just taken off. Something made them cranky and they shot through. So if I can track them down, I'll get some video footage. No big deal if I don't today, because I've got plenty of videos of sacred kingfishers, but I did get some nice photos while they were hanging about. So that might have to do for today if I don't track them down again. Managed to track down the kingfishers from earlier. I'm not going to spend a lot of time with them, to be honest. I'm happy with the photos I got earlier, and now they're right at the very top of these tall trees, so any video footage is not going to be very good. And I got some good photos and video of them earlier in the season from around Melbourne, so just going to get a couple of shots now and then pull the pin on them. Just as I said, I wasn't going to waste any more time on the kingfishers. I found them messing about with this hollow here. So I don't think it's an active nest at the moment because they're coming in and out really frequently. They're not bringing any food. I think they're just hollowing it out a bit more to actually use it as a nest. So it's worth keeping this in mind and coming back here in a couple of weeks to see if there's any action here at this hole here and if they're feeding anything. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a bit of a potpourri of birds and photos with a couple of artistic high-key images thrown in there. That's just the way it goes. If anyone's been living in Melbourne, they'll be able to tell you the weather this spring has been absolutely diabolical, which has affected how to get out and about and take photos, but that's how it goes sometimes with nature photography. Anyway, thanks once again. I'll catch you back on the channel very soon.